On many different standardized tests, they usually have an analytical reasoning section. And sometimes knowing ahead of time what types of analytical questions are asked and knowing the categories will help you find the appropriate answer. And so we're just going to briefly go over the different types of analytical reasoning questions. If you know the category and you can identify that category from the question, then finding the answer becomes that much more easy, that much more simple. So basically, when we think about analytical reasoning questions, the first type of reasoning has to do with ordering. And here you need to think in terms of sequence. So the question will basically ask you to order players, people, things, objects, something else in a specific sequence based on the conditions provided. So they give you the conditions, take this group, order them in a specific sequence based on these conditions. Ordering. 2, you'll find analytical reasoning questions having to do with allocation. And here what you need to think of is putting or placing objects or people or things into different groups based on the criteria provided. So I have a larger group, I need to break it up into smaller groups, and I'm going to allocate from the larger group to these smaller groups based on the criteria provided. So ordering, the group stays the same, you just put them in this right sequence, 1 through 20. Allocating, I'm going to take this massive 20 and I'm going to put them into 4 different groups based on the criteria provided. The next type of analytical reasoning question you find is connecting. Here, I've got a group of people, objects, things, and I need to find the connection between these various things. So I'm going to associate them with one another, link them to one another based on the criteria provided. Ordering sequence, allocating into different groups, connecting or linking things in a particular way based on the criteria provided. And then finally, selecting. In the selecting analytical question, what you're going to be given is a larger group, and from that you will then produce a smaller group strictly based on the information provided. So the criteria is given, here's the large group. Now from that larger group, select the ones out of there that then belong in this smaller group. So if you remember these categories, when you get to the analytical reasoning section of your test, if you can identify what they're asking for in that question, whether it's ordering, allocating, connecting, or selecting, then you're already partway to the correct answer. You know what you're looking for. A sequence, placing in different groups, linkages, or a smaller group from the larger group. I hope this little tip will help you when you're taking your test. As always, if you're taking a test and you know the right answer, you go with that. But if you don't know the right answer, some of these test-taking tips can really give you an edge to make a better, more educated guess. It gives you that extra edge in getting the right answer on the test.